Let me ask you something that most people spend years avoiding. When was the last time you genuinely asked someone for help? Not a quick favor disguised as a joke, not a polite request where you already had a backup plan, not the kind of help that keeps your heart hidden. I mean, the kind of help that exposes you a little, the kind that feels uncomfortable, the kind that requires you to say, I can't do this alone. For many people, that moment is so distant, it feels like another lifetime. We live in a world that silently trains us to hide our needs, to swallow our struggles, to wear independence like armor. There was a time when asking for help felt natural, when you were young, unself-conscious, before the world taught you the rules of restraint. When something was too heavy, you reached out without hesitation. When something scared you, you didn't pretend to be brave. You cried. You clung to someone. You asked openly. Children don't worry about being a burden. They don't believe their feelings are too much. They don't calculate the weight of their needs. They simply express what they feel because that is the instinct of the human heart when it hasn't been taught to be silent. But eventually that changes. It always does. There is a moment, sometimes dramatic, sometimes barely noticeable, that shapes how you ask for help for the rest of your life. Maybe someone told you to stop crying. Maybe someone dismissed your fear. Maybe someone mocked your vulnerability. Maybe the person you depended on did not dependably show up. Or maybe no one said anything. Maybe the help you desperately needed never came. Somewhere in that space, a lesson forms, a quiet, painful lesson. If I don't ask for anything, I can't be disappointed. If I carry everything alone, no one can hurt me. If I need nothing, I can't lose anything. And the child who once asked freely begins to disappear. You grow older, your voice gets steadier, your emotions get quieter, your shoulders get stronger. People start calling you independent, mature, strong, and they never stop to consider that strength was not a choice. It was a necessity. Your independence wasn't born from confidence. It was born from survival. You start handling chaos by yourself. You fix your own problems. You avoid crying in front of others. You say it's fine when you're breaking inside. You become the one who never asks for anything, because asking has become associated with vulnerability, with danger, with possible rejection. And over time, you build an identity around it. I don't need anyone. Except you do. You always have, you still do, but needs become uncomfortable when they were once punished, ignored, or minimized. So you live inside your armor, you smile, you function, you help others, you check on them, you show up for them, and slowly they begin to believe you don't need the same in return. You become the strong friend, the reliable one, the listener, the problem solver, the one who absorbs everyone else's struggles while keeping your own neatly hidden. People forget to ask how you're doing because you're the one who's always okay. People forget to support you because you never need anything. People forget that you get tired because you never show it. And behind that silence, you carry weights most people never see, weights you've convinced yourself you should handle alone. You don't ask for help not because you don't need it, but because somewhere inside, you fear what asking might cost. Help requires trust. Help requires vulnerability. Help requires admitting you're human in a world where you've always been treated like you have to be superhuman. Help asks you to open a door you locked a very long time ago. So instead you tell yourself, it's not that bad. I'm used to it. I don't want to bother anyone. I've handled worse. It's easier if I do it myself. No one would understand anyway. But none of these statements are the truth. They are symptoms of unaddressed hurt. They are reminders of a time when needing someone was punished or ignored. People think independence is strength, but for many people, independence is a scar that says, I learned to do everything alone because I had no other choice. And here's the part we rarely talk about. When you spend years being the strong one, you lose the ability to feel safe being anything else. You could be surrounded by people and still feel alone, not because they don't care, but because you don't know how to let them in. You don't know how to say, I'm exhausted. I'm overwhelmed. I need someone. I'm struggling. The words feel foreign. Your throat closes around them. Your mind panics at the idea of being vulnerable. Your body remembers every moment when asking didn't lead to comfort, but disappointment. So you swallow your feelings. You stay quiet. You pretend you're okay. You convince yourself that silence is safer than honesty. But silence is heavy. Silence is lonely. Silence is suffocating when you're carrying too much. And even though you rarely admit it, there are moments late at night, in the shower, in the car, in the middle of a long day, where you wish someone could hear the things you're too afraid to say. You wish someone would look at you and see through your calmness. You wish someone would ask the right question. You wish someone would notice the tiredness hidden in your eyes. You wish someone would say, "Lean on me." You wish someone would remind you that you don't have to be the strong one all the time. But you don't say any of this aloud. You don't ask, you don't reach, you don't reveal, because the fear of being misunderstood outweighs the desire to be understood, because the fear of being rejected outweighs the desire to be supported, because somewhere deep inside, you've convinced yourself that your needs are too much or that your emotions are inconvenient, but they're not. They never were. You deserve help. You deserve support. You deserve someone who listens with patience, with presence, with care. You deserve the softness you give to others. You deserve the understanding you offer freely. You deserve the warmth you pour into the people you love. Asking for help doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It makes you honest. It makes you real. And the truth is, you were never meant to carry everything alone. Your nervous system wasn't built for isolation. Your heart wasn't wired for silence. Your mind wasn't designed to absorb every storm without shelter. You are allowed to lean on others. You are allowed to ask for support. You are allowed to let someone see the parts of you that aren't perfectly composed. You don't have to wait until you break to ask for help. You don't have to be strong every moment of every day. Even the strongest souls need rest. Even the most resilient hearts need comfort. Even the most independent people need someone to say, I'm here. You don't have to face this alone. And maybe, just maybe, you've been waiting for someone to give you permission to need help again. So here it is. You are allowed to need people. You are allowed to be held. You are allowed to not be okay. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to receive the care you've spent your whole life giving. Asking for help isn't a burden. It's a bridge back to connection, back to trust, back to being fully, deeply, beautifully human.